Hey guys, welcome back to the Max Spence Business Podcast. Today I have a very special guest. His name's Braydon Parks. He's actually an insurance broker. It's great having you on the show, Braydon.
Yeah, great to be here. Appreciate it.
Awesome. So before we actually jump into this podcast, to the people that are listening, if you guys like the content that I'm putting out, the people that I'm interviewing, if I'm bringing any sort of value to you, please subscribe. It really helps with the channel. It helps with bringing more awareness to the guests that I'm having on as well. And I'll also be able to get bigger and bigger guests on the show as well. So, leave a comment. If there's anybody that you want to see on the show, please shoot me a message, leave a comment, and I'll see if I can get them on the show. So anyway, let's jump right into this. What's sort of your background, Braydon?
Well, of course, like you mentioned, I'm a insurance broker now, but I've recently started that. Before I was working with Desjardins Insurance. So I started out, that was basically the first thing that I did, working with just one company, selling insurance for the one company, home, auto, life, every type of insurance. But before, of course, I think like most people, I decided that I was going to go to college and try to get a degree and try to figure out what I wanted to do. So I started with accounting. It wasn't right. And then I thought maybe, okay, I'll do finance. And in the end, I ended up leaving after 2 years. I was supposed to do a 4-year, 5-year program, but got right into working for State Farm, which is now Desjardins, and worked there the last 2 years, built up a pretty sizable business, and working as a broker now as independent.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so, I've to the viewers, I've met Braydon beforehand, and when he was in Ottawa, he's now. Where are you now currently?
Yeah, so now my office is in Whitby, but it really doesn't matter, right? The way that I do business. Basically they've got to be in Ontario, but it's all over the phone. Sometimes I'll meet people, right? But a lot of it we just do over the phone. So office is in Whitby. I think I've been to the office maybe 5 times since I've been here. So it really doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I agree with that. Because of COVID, it's changed the game enormously with and now it's just Zoom meetings, Microsoft Teams, and phone calls with everybody now. That's pretty much how everything's sort of run. So it doesn't really matter where you are. People are a lot more open and easier to sort of get them on the phone or something and sort of have that conversation that way.
Yeah, I'd say you're definitely right. I don't think I've used Zoom more times in like the last 6 months probably ever in my life. Before, I think I used it a couple of times, but I can't really say, oh, I didn't know what Zoom was. But
what sort of got you into insurance over doing anything else?
It's a funny story. It started in college. So when I was in college, there was a financial advisor. His name's Colin Morris in Kingston. I don't even think works as a financial advisor anymore. He actually owns his own business there. It's called Craftworks or something. He does framing, but he did a speech at my college where he was talking about financial advice and, the value that you can provide to clients, and it really just piqued my interest. I thought that a lot of the things he was saying were a lot of the things that I was thinking. So I came up to him at the end and I just said, hey, listen, would it be possible we have a one-on-one meeting outside of class? I just want to talk about what you do, and potentially I'd be interested in it. So we did. We set up a meeting. We talked one-on-one, and he gave me talk about life insurance, and he talked to me about critical illness insurance, disability insurance, and I thought, no, I don't want to do insurance. Like, why would I want to do insurance? I don't get it. I want to help people make money. So I'm in for the investments thing. Let's do that. But I don't know about the other stuff. But basically, he explained the value of that, right? In that you got to protect yourself, protect your income. And otherwise, if something happened to you, if you had a heart attack or something, you can't go to work, you're not making income, you got to protect it, right? So that kind of made sense to me. And so anyway, I got interested in financial advice. But the funny thing is that when I started applying to companies to do financial advice, I ended up getting an interesting job offer from State Farm Insurance, and they were saying, well, we want you to sell home and auto insurance. And I said, definitely not. I definitely don't want to sell home and auto insurance because I want to do financial advice, financial planning. That has nothing to do with it. And there's no way, you know, you can convince me of that. And I said, of course not. It doesn't have anything to do with it, but, you know, trust me, you're going to want to do it. Anyway, I ended up accepting the offer there because other things made sense for me. Um, and you know, probably 6 months in, I was writing a bunch of home and auto insurance, loving it. And I mean, honestly, I love doing home and auto insurance, but I still love doing life insurance way more. But that's, you know, that's how I got into it. I mean, originally I hated insurance. Every part of the insurance I didn't want anything to do with. But once I started seeing how I actually helped people in their lives, it changed. So.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. So how did you actually find the first, did you find it hard? Like, did you have like a sale? Cause I know you, like I've met you a couple of times before and stuff, and we had you know, like, you know, we went out for drinks and stuff. So I know you're very, very, very extroverted, and you're really good at, like, you know, talking and speaking to people, and you really enjoy having conversations with people. You really enjoy doing stuff like that. So did you have trouble from like the, you know, jumping into insurance where it's a sales aspect of the job is like, you know, why should somebody choose, you have to sell your product over somebody else's product?
Yeah. Um, so I knew that I wanted to do financial advice, right? You know, when he spoke to me in the school, but I was still in school. I mean, I was right in the middle of my program. I wanted to finish. So when I was doing college, I started to try to get sales background experience. One of the things that I did, I actually worked for President's Choice MasterCard, and I was going into all these grocery stores in Kingston. So, you know, No Frills was a big one. I was in all of those. Loblaws, I was in all of those. Gananoque, Napanee, Kingston, the whole area. And I literally would walk in and walk around 7-hour shift, or however long I wanted to be there. I'd always do at least 7 hours though. And you know, it's crazy because you would legitimately walk right up to these people who have never met you before, never seen you before, and you're going to try to sell them a credit card while they're shopping for groceries. So, I mean, it was the most absurd thing ever. I remember that on my first day when I was doing it, when I was, you know, I was going along with the manager, and I was super uncomfortable. Man, I'd never done it before. Never just, you know, I got to go up and talk to somebody I've never talked to before and try to strike up a conversation or, you know, try to sell them something. So I remember me being extremely awkward the first few times. My manager said to me, you know what, man, it's all good. If you want to just pack it up and go home, I get it. I thought he was joking. He was dead serious because 90% of people packed it up after that, went home. I was like, you're kidding me. No, of course not. I'm not going to give up. And I mean, that was one of the traits that I'd say definitely has led to my success in business is no matter how hard it's been, and it's been really hard sometimes, you just can't give up. You have to keep saying like, nope, pick it up. Let's go back at it. And I remember some of those days doing the credit card sales, it really sucked, man, because you just got rejected time and time and time again. Like I'd have over 300 conversations in a day, maybe even 500 conversations in a day. And I'd sell like, you know, 10 cards. So, you know, and it's not even a conversation. It's just, hey, yeah, you know, I'm with PC MasterCard, just doing our promotion. And they'd be like, no, go away. I don't want to talk to you, you know, 90% of the time. So that's really where I got my sales stuff from. The other thing is that when I first started at State Farm, they made me cold call for 4 months before I was even able to sell. And so I made, you know, 200 or 300 calls a day, just hitting the phone book. I was terrible. I was the worst salesperson you've ever seen in your life. I mean, I'd call them, I was reading straight off a script. I sounded like a robot, but that made me realize, okay, well, I had done the in-person thing, but I didn't get over the phone. I started getting it. I was like, it's really the same thing. It's even better. Like they can't see you. You have less things to worry about. All you have to do is worry about your voice, your tonality, the way you're saying things. And, you know, I kind of figured it out.
Yeah, that's crazy, and that's with sales is sales is such an industry, interesting job that literally the only way you can really get good at it, well, it's like the majority of other things. The only way you can get really good at it is by actually doing it and making all those mistakes. And with sales, it's like the majority of people, like every single salesperson I sort of talk to, I've never heard anybody saying like, oh yeah, you know, my first time doing a sales job, I was just rocking it and killing it. It's like everybody's no, it was just like falling flat on their face over and over and over and over and over and
Yeah.
over again.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's really funny. I mean, if I was to tell you how it all clicked for me was really just one thing. And you know, before I got into insurance again, I knew nothing about the business, and just through regular, just doing my job and just doing the leads that I was provided, which wasn't much, you know, I wasn't doing great. I met a guy who was working for a broker. Funny enough, he's working for the brokerage I work for now. And he still works there. So this guy, he was my first COI. That was the first time I ever heard the word COI. And I'm like, what's that, right? Center of influence. So, you know, it's basically the people that you know who can help you in business and you help them, right? So, he basically explained to me the concept, and I started realizing this guy sends me 5 leads a month, right? So I close 1 out of those 5 on average, right? In the last 3 or 4 months that I've been doing this, okay? And so then I just basically cracked out the calculator and I put, okay, well, if I do, you know, if I get 100 of these guys, right, who are sending me 5 leads a month, that's 500 leads, right? And then those 500 leads, I'm closing 100, and my average premium is 2,000, which means that if I did that, I would sell 200,000 a month. Then that's when everything changed, because that's exactly what I started doing. Instead of targeting the customers, I targeted the businesses. So I started calling the dealerships. I started calling the accountants, mortgage brokers, everyone I could. And I used LinkedIn to do it as well. And once I reverse engineered that and gained the center of influence, that's when the leads started coming in. It started getting to the point where I couldn't even pick up the phone. I'm at that point now. I'll always probably be at that point now. And it's a little overwhelming at times, but that's honestly what it takes, and putting in every hour of the day. You
Damn,
know?
that's crazy, man. So with that, that's actually a really good strategy, and that's a really good point. Is actually, instead of like individually targeting the customers, is having somebody that pretty much you're leveraging pretty much their sort of network, and they're already pre like analyzing these people, right? So like the
Yeah.
5 people that they probably send to you are probably more warm leads.
They are.
Because
They're very warm leads. And
yeah,
so this is what I found, right? Is that if you've got these internet leads or phone leads, doesn't really matter how they come in. They may call them warm. They're not warm. The reason why they're not warm is because they don't trust you. They don't know you. You're not any different from anyone else. The only difference is that they are interested in your product because they clicked the link or whatever, right? My leads, when they call me, they know I'm the best insurance broker that there is, whether that's true or not, right? I mean, it's a perspective, but the truth is that I'm the guy who puts in the hours. I'm the guy who cares about the client. I find solutions. That's what I do. And so that's why these guys use me, right? So at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's all about being the solution maker. If you're the guy who provides solutions, a lot of people will use you, right?
oh, okay, awesome. So what I sort of want to change it now too. So what are some mistakes that young people sort of make with insurance?
So big thing. I was just on the phone with a girl the other day, actually. I mean, it might have been yesterday or the day before. I'm not sure, but she had like 3 tickets on her record, 2 suspensions, but she'd never been involved in an accident before. She thought that's all that really mattered, right? The problem is that these guys or girls, young people in general, they're not educated on what actually happens when you get tickets and you just pay them. What unfortunately happens is your insurance can go up anywhere from 30 to 50%, you know, per ticket. it depends, but I mean, obviously once you have 2 tickets, 3, 4, 5 tickets, not going to matter too much. But when you have these tickets, it really does matter, because all of a sudden this bumped her up into a high risk category. She's never been involved in an accident before, but because she was pulled over, she didn't care about the way she drove, and she got these tickets. And then when she got them, she just thought, nah, screw it, I'll just go and pay them. They don't go away. She finds out next year on her renewal that she's being non-renewed, and now she has to go to a high-risk company. I quoted her $900 a month. So, and I have access to every company that there is. So I know that's the cheapest she can get. And, well, in terms of the high-risk market, right? So I know that that's the cheapest she can get. And unfortunately, there's nothing I can do other than tell her, wait 2 years for these to come off and try better next time. It's just unfortunate that there's not any kind of education on that. There's not any kind of education on financial advice or anything like that, right? I mean, kids don't know what a credit score is. They don't know how to do, a basic budget, any of that stuff. So, I mean, the main problem is a serious lack of education on things that matter in life, right?
Yeah.
So that's it, right? I mean, it's pretty
Yeah,
much, there's a few other things.
that's a really good point. Is like, I knew the insurance went up, but like you just made it like you kind of like cemented a lot more with like, hey, if you get a couple tickets, like your insurance rate is going to go through the roof, and it's not, it's without even having an accident. It's like,
yeah, I mean, in her case, it was a G2. She got suspended a few times because of having too many tickets. The suspensions is really where it gets bad. So, the tickets, it's definitely a big thing. I knew a lot of kids when I was growing up that got bad tickets, speeding and whatnot. I never thought anything of it. I'm like, oh, he got a bad speeding ticket. It's fine. But, I mean, I'm sure he didn't get insurance the next year.
yeah.
I knew nothing about it. I mean, just to share with something, an interesting story that I tell a lot of my clients. Back in 2017, I mean, this was only 3 years ago, I got involved in an at-fault accident myself. I had put that car on the road. I insured it 3 weeks prior. I knew for sure that I had asked for full coverage on that car. But when I called my insurance company to get it claimed, they said, you don't have coverage. You're only covered for comprehensive. So I said, comprehensive? Yeah. Do you not know the definition of the word? It means everything, right? They say, no, comprehensive means fire, theft, vandalism, glass damage. It doesn't include collision. Collision is a separate coverage. Well, I said, hey, listen, you guys got to go back in your call logs, take a look at, if these phone calls are recorded, you need to listen to them, because I asked for full coverage and they told me it was comprehensive. It ended up being paid out because that was the truth. It did get paid out. But the fact of the matter is that I knew nothing about insurance. My broker didn't explain to me the difference between these things. I asked for full coverage. They said I was getting comprehensive. I said, great. And in the end, I didn't even get what I wanted. I mean, of course, I did get my claim covered, which is good. But what happens if that phone call wasn't recorded? I wouldn't have got covered. No way. So.
Yeah, that's actually really important. And that's awesome that you brought that up. Yeah, it's like, because you never really get told, like through in school, there's not a course that's called insurance and car, insuring your car or anything like that. Yeah. And I mean, like, so I mean, if you don't have that knowledge, and someone like, because if you get in an accident, like in-fault accident or something like that, and if you don't have insurance, you can be like, that could pretty much mess you up for quite a few years for having to pay something off that is absolutely insane. Like, and the price tag could be very, very high for that.
Yeah, it would for sure.
Yeah. So I want to ask a little bit more about that. Is so what other areas do people lose money? Because I know with like probably yearly insurance rates go up, is like, and there's a lot of like these little things that you don't really notice about that, money, like the price of it is going to increase. So is there anything that you should be doing yearly? Because I know for phones, it's like you should be calling in yearly for your phone bill and stuff to sort of see if they have any new deals, or to see if or to be calling between different companies, like let's say like Bell or Rogers or something. to make sure that you're getting the best deal, because it just naturally starts to go up. They'll just keep increasing it over the years.
Yeah, well, it's the same, right? I mean, I highly recommend that the smartest thing to do is to call your insurance agent or broker. It really doesn't matter. Every single year before your renewal, when you get your renewal in the mail, you take a look at it, see if it went up or down. And honestly, if it went down, you're probably good. If it went up, you want to call, see if there's anything you can do. Because, I mean, the worst thing it could do is go up more. But it's already up. So you may as well call and see if it can go down. It's very rare. I've seen probably maybe 2% of people call in, I review their policy, and it goes up. And it's typically just because maybe it says they had winter tires, but since the last time I talked to them, because it was 8 years ago, they now have no winters, right? So now I have to pull the discount off or something like that. But
Okay.
generally, you know, I'm saving people money when they call in and review it, because it's been so many years. Typically, they've let it go that there's nothing. And I mean, yeah, generally you call in, and if it's only been 1 year, there's nothing I can do. But it's good practice to do it every year, because 7 years in, there probably will be something I can do, right? Or 6 years in, 5 years in, who knows when it happens. But you wanna put your house insurance with your car insurance. You want to get winter tires. You'll want to have, if you have multiple vehicles in the house, you'll want to put those under one company. The best thing you can do, in my opinion, is have someone who is a broker, who can shop all the rates, who can make sure that you're getting the lowest price and check all of these discounts over for you. At the end of the day, it's best to leave it to the professional, because like I said, I didn't know nothing about it when I was younger, when I was in high school or college. I didn't know anything. Now I know everything about it. I can definitely get you the lowest rate. I definitely know what I'm doing, right? So it's sort of like you talk to the expert, and then you'll get what you're looking for, right? The best solution is going to happen. I mean, unless they don't have your best interest in mind, most people do.
And I sort of want to talk about that. Is there any way to like distinguish between like a good insurance broker and sort of not a good one or anything like that? Like,
yes, big time. The best way to distinguish between somebody who's a good insurance broker and a bad one is the solution. If at the end of the call they tell you that there's nothing that they can do for you, they're not a good broker. If there's nothing that they can do for you, they should know somebody who can do something for you, because everybody loves the guy who knows a guy. And, you know, even if you are not the one, you should always have somebody who is the one. Why? Because why not? I mean, if you got these guys who, so for example, I mean, say that I have all the high risk companies, right? So say that somebody who's another broker doesn't have all the high risk companies. He knows this client's high risk all day long, right? He's going to send it to me, because I'm going to be able to quote them high risk, right? And get them the lowest price, guaranteed, because I have every company, right? But on the other side of things, there's companies that I don't have. And so if I'm coming up extremely high, and I know that one of my friends has a lower quote for, you know, has this company, which I think is going to fit better with it, then I can just say, hey, Mr. Client, to be honest with you, it's going to be in your best interest to do this. And I mean, it's in my best interest too, because at the end of the day, I'm going to get what comes around. Right. So I send a lead, I'm going to get one. Eventually, someday I'm going to get one. Right. So
and that's the plus of having those center of influence people, is that when you send stuff to them, they're going to send stuff back to you, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to work, you know, and you're just going to build a better relationship. It's going to work better both ways.
That's what it's all about. Yeah. So I'd say that's it.
Awesome. So I sort of want to know now is, let's say if somebody's wanting to get into the insurance field, what were some mistakes that you made at the beginning that sort of hindered your progress at all? Or like, if you could go back, would there be something you could change to start making, you know, more money quicker? Or, you know, is there somewhere to build better relationships or something? Or
yeah, I mean, number one was I talked about earlier that it clicked for me, this whole COI thing, having the center of influence, going business to business based on referrals, calling warm leads, not spending my time on cold leads. If I had it my way, if I was to go back, restart everything, I would have never made a single cold call. I really don't think that they're worthwhile. Uh, I don't even need to sell. Okay. That's the reality, is that my car dealership sells a car, then they send it to me. Then I just give them the insurance they're already looking for. Right. So that's how I prefer it, because it's a lot less work, and there's just no point, because the way it is that these guys come in, I quickly close them, I quickly sell a policy to them, and it's in everybody's best interest. The client gets the car, the best price of insurance that they're looking for. The car dealer sells their car, they get paid. I sell my policy, I get paid. Everybody's happy, right? So, yeah.
That's what you do instead of doing those cold calls that you did at the beginning.
Yeah, you could do cold calling. I think it's okay, but it's a big waste of time, really. Once you've gotten into this industry, you realize that the cold calls, unless you're cold calling for something other than personal lines, home and auto, is a waste of time. I definitely think cold call businesses, yeah, all day long. Ask them to work with you. Heck, even ask them to be a client, ask them to meet with you. If they're doing commercial insurance, it's worthwhile. But personal lines, home and auto, it's not worthwhile. Absolutely not. Because you call these people, 9 times out of 10, they're already with their company. They're not willing to switch because you're a random guy on the phone they've never met, never talked to, and it's an extremely hard sell. So, you're going to call through 100 before you close one. Why not just call 100 dealers? You're going to close, I'm going to say, probably 30 to 50% of those dealers, and they're going to send you leads for life. That's the way to go. If you're starting up as a broker, you do that. You don't do anything else. There's no reason to do anything else. So,
Okay. And that's sort of how you'd break into the market, is by doing that, is dealing with a lot of automotive insurance.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? Like you were saying, is you want to get more into life insurance. What are you doing now to sort of scale up? Like, what are the next steps for you? Is it to are you able to hire somebody on, or are you able
That's
to bring
what
on
I'd like to do. The thing is that there's a lot of leads that I have that I don't have people for. So I'd love to have a team behind me. It's kind of what I've been trying to do. We'll see what happens here in the future. I don't know. But right now, I can't really hire anybody beneath me. I have other team members that I can kind of help. Like, I can send them leads, but I'm not going to get paid as much, that kind of thing. But I guess your question was like about
the scaling up side of the process, because right now you've sort of
it's going to be coming in the future, but just the reason I got confused was because you started talking about the life insurance side of things. The life insurance side of things, I want to start doing advertisements for. I'm thinking of doing, Facebook, Instagram ads, that kind of thing, maybe to drive more business. I've just been finding really the only way I can get those kind of leads is by having, again, just business relationships with people who are lawyers or people who are mortgage brokers, people who have to kind of talk about it. It's just not the same, really, because these guys, they make so much money. And my commissions, they're not big enough really to pay them out huge money or anything like that. So that's tough. But as far as the other side of things goes, hiring or building my business up, it's definitely something that I'm going to be doing in the future. But right now, as I said, I just recently switched over to a broker. I want to get broker, not necessarily experience. I am experienced, but I want to have more, I guess, time just doing it as a broker and, figuring out how it is with multiple companies. And even though, like I said, I've been dealing with multiple companies for years because through proxy, I always have solutions, right? But now all of the solutions, most of them anyway, are right here where I do the business. So I have to kind of memorize 20 different underwriting guidelines, 20 different billing guidelines, 20 different everything. So that I want to master first. Once I nail that down, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to go national with a brokerage. That would be great. Like if I could get, BC to Ontario or even out to East more, have the whole country, that'd be great. International would be even better. But that's going to be a long time from now, right?
Yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%. Well, yeah, it's been fun having you on the podcast, man. Yeah, where can people actually find out more about you, and if they need insurance or something, or if they want to ask you any questions?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're looking for insurance, you can go to my website. It's thebig.ca, thebig.ca/Braydon, which no one's going to know how to spell properly. So that's Braydon. So you can get quotes there. You can look at all the product information there. If you want to reach me, though, feel free to call me, 705-808-0484. I always
Awesome.
open to a conversation with anyone, especially business partners.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, that's great to hear, man. Well, so yeah, thank you again for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, it's been good. I appreciate you having me, Max.